Ron Artest was arrested several times, had the longest suspension in history, and was downright insane. But he was also one of the most loved players in the NBA. He broke Jordan's ribs in a pickup game, changed his name 3 times, and even walked in on Kobe while he was showering. All these unhinged moments made fans fall in love. He was one of the most dominant two-way players during his era. In fact, 2004, not only was he an all-star, but he also won Defensive Player of the Year. 6 months later, he received the biggest suspension in NBA history. He's had feuds with the likes of Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant, and even challenged Pat Riley to a screaming match. God gave this man AB levels of CTE, mixed in some nuclear juice, and just told the rest of the NBA to figure it out. Never again will we see a man like this. He started a rap career, and while working on his album, asked his team for a month off during the middle of the season. In fact, he's even made a tribute song for Michael Jackson, who he loved so much he wore the number 37 just for him. Ron was an unbelievably huge asset for his teams, constantly helping them get to the playoffs. But he was also the biggest nightmare for them too, from being arrested several times for domestic violence, dogfighting charges, to even driving a literal F1 car on a public street. All these bizarre and perplexing moments stem from one childhood event, when he saw his own friend get stabbed to death by a table leg during a pickup game. It happened in Queens. Alright, this is already making so much sense. In New York, the pigeons have biceps. Heck, even the raps have abs. There's a reason why DMX raps so aggressively. During the game, things got so heated that they broke the leg off from a table and threw it. It went straight through his friend's heart. He passed away right on the spot. Artest's tough childhood continued, as he said that just at 13 years old, he was cooking crack and selling it. Thankfully though, young Pablo Escobar took his talents of cooking crack to cooking people on the court and decided to play basketball, where he absolutely thrived. He won several awards, including being one of the few non-centers to ever win Defensive Player of the Year, which is saying something. Not only was he locking down the other team's best player, but you could also count on him for a 20-piece. He quickly became one of the league's youngest stars, but also one of the most diabolical. You ever seen an unk off a perk playing basketball? Well, that's what Artest's playstyle was. He wasn't just playing one sport out there, he was playing all of them. Football, MMA, basketball, WWE, just tackling out there, swinging wildly and using that elbow. Imagine being a little 5'10" nugget on the court. Then you see this pit bull running full speed at you and just clock you. The pit bull's aggression continued, as he even started barking during a game. Against the Jazz, he got tangled up with a few players and then ended up getting ejaculated after slapping one of them. He even got Brandon Knight with an armbar before nailing him with a quick left. The NBA got so used to his tomfoolery at this point that when he kicked a man, they just thought it was good defense and let them play on. No foul, no nothing. Artest even challenged a coach to a screaming match. It was against Pat Riley. After hitting Butler with the back shot that sent him into the crowd, Artest picked up a flagrant. He then started exchanging words with Pat Riley, who was already mad at Artest, because earlier when Riley was arguing a foul, Artest was right in the middle of it. No business being there, just trying to antagonize him. All this back and forth eventually boiled over. After scoring an and one on Butler, who he'd given the back shot to earlier, Artest started to flex his muscles and celebrate. He then brushed up against Pat Riley, who absolutely erupted. He got in Ron's face, shoved him, and the two started trash talking each other. It all ended when Ron Artest decided to flip the crowd off. And the crazy thing about all this? It was his third major incident in just one season, as he even shoved one of his own coaches. After losing to the Celtics, Artest was about to crash out, so the coach calmed him down and Artest responded by going after him. Thankfully, Tony Montana came in at the end to settle it down. Another time, Artest even destroyed the stadium equipment. After suffering a tough loss, he smashed a TV monitor to pieces, and when he saw the cameraman catch him doing all that, he grabbed the camera off his shoulders and smashed that too. The NBA forced him to pay for all the damages. $100,000 camera? Why the heck is it so dang expensive? Hey, that camera better come with X-ray vision for the WNBA games. It's the only thing that'll make their games watchable. There was one beef that completely changed Ron's career forever. It was not only his biggest, but also most significant. From him being preloaded with CTE to him being an elite defender, Artest was one of the most feared guys in the NBA. Well, for everyone but Kobe Bryant. It started off with this altercation between the two. And knowing Kobe, this was a huge mistake, as he responded by dropping 18 points in the fourth quarter. However, Ron would still not stop going after Kobe as he pressed him at the end of the game. In fact, Artest would really not stop going after Kobe, because just a few games later, he tried to fight him. He got in his face and was cussing him out. Quickly, the refs had to separate the two. Artest would eventually get ejaculated. These two had extreme hate and absolutely despised each other. Bigger rivalry than even Kanye versus Twix. Or so that's what it seemed like, cause the two became teammates. It seemed like there was a higher chance of you getting throat from a nun before they ever became friends, let alone teammates. But that's what ended up happening. After the Lakers lost Game 6 in the finals, Artest walked into the locker room in hopes of talking to Kobe Bryant. At first, he talked with some of the teammates and coaches until he started to look around for Kobe. One of the coaches told him he was in the shower. Now, normally everyone else would either wait or try to meet him at another time. But not Artest, no. Instead, he decided to walk right into the shower. And there was Kobe, the only one in there. Absolutely pissed off. His head was down and facing the other way, so Artest walked up and tapped him on his shoulder. Kobe turned around in shock and asked him what he wanted. And that's when Artest told him that he wanted to join his team and help him win a title. Which is exactly what happened. After winning a ring, it set off some of the most chaotic and memorable championship moments ever. It was like nothing we had ever seen, or nothing that we will ever see in the history of the NBA. In his post-game interview, he thanked his psychiatrist for helping him win a ring. A ring that he no longer even has. Yes, because he decided to raffle it off for charity. The rigmarole continued, because after winning a ring, he would even release a song called Champions that also happened to make it on NBA 2K11. Imagine hopping on 2K while playing as yourself, while listening to yourself? Yeah, bro was Kodak Black with the jumper. And this wasn't even the only song he released. In fact, he had already released a rap album that featured the likes of Diddy, Juvenile, Mike Jones, and many more. Artest was even suspended 2 games after asking for 1 month off. All because of his love for the rap game. He went over to the Pacers and asked them for some time off so that he could work on his new album. In turn, they slapped him with the 2-game suspension. That's like you asking your boss for a week off and he fires you. Well, except for the fact that you work a minimum wage job working at McDonald's to pay for your gambling debt, and he plays in the NBA, where he puts you in all that debt. His music career would reach an all-time peak when he sang an apology song to Paul Pierce for pantsing him. On defense, players use all sorts of different tactics and strategies to get a leg up, from trash talking, blinding them, to even using their shoe. Artest took this to a whole nother level when he decided to pull Paul Pierce's shorts off, and it didn't even work because he ended up getting facial by him. He's lucky there was no shit on those drawers. Afterwards, Artest would apologize by singing him a song.
Paul, I'm so sorry to humiliate you on TV by pulling your shorts down.
Rapping wasn't even the only other job Artest had aside from basketball, because he even worked at Circuit City. And now watch, just like how we say Jordan played against milkmen, everyone's gonna say LeBron played against retail store workers. The reason why he chose to work at Circuit City was because he wanted to get discounts on DVDs. Can't even blame the man though, cause you stay rich by being cheap. I would know. Stories like these continued throughout his career. In fact, they got even more outlandish. One time he pulled up to practice wearing only a bathrobe, and he even appeared on a Korn magazine once. Hey, if you can't get on the cover of Sports Illustrated, you take the next best thing. You choose being on the cover with these baddies or with these baldies. Damn, what a shame. Less hair follicles in that picture than points scored. He even RKO'd the weatherman and took his job. Another time, he received a ticket for driving a literal F1 car on a public road. All this craziness can only be explained by one thing. Artest admitted to drinking Hennessy during halftime, which shouldn't even be surprising because just look at this man. Does this man look sober to you? Exactly. That Hennessy turned him into the MVP. Most violent player ever. So much so that he even broke Jordan's ribs one time. During a pickup game in a private gym, Artest was guarding up on Jordan when during the play he nailed him with an elbow to the ribs. Something seemed wrong right away, because Jordan was in extreme pain. Despite this, he still stayed in the game and he even hit a game winner. This led to everyone thinking that it was just a minor thing and he was okay. Turns out, the exact opposite was true, as it was reported that Jordan had broken ribs. I'm telling y'all, that Henny had him moving different, and it even led to the most insane story yet. Artest claimed that a ghost had graped him I promise you, I'm not even capping. Even if I try to come up with something this crazy, I wouldn't be able to. Artest said that he was at a haunted hotel when a ghost was all over him and started touching him all over the place. He even said that the ghost was touching on his giggle stick. Damn, now I want to visit that haunted house. Despite all the bad that Hennessy came with, it also gave this man superpowers as he went on a tear. He was a rising star in the league, making an all-star game, even averaging 20 points a game. Ron was also proving that he was one of, if not the best defensive player in the league, routinely guarding the NBA's elite and shutting them down. Artest's teams were also constantly making the playoffs. All this went a long way in repairing the negative image he had around the league. In fact, he even changed his name to help out with this. He said that Ron Artest was a person of violence, while Metta World Peace was the exact opposite and promoted peace. Everyone started to take notice and started falling in love. But then he destroyed it all in one play, when he rocked Harden with the people's elbow.
And World Peace elbowed him.
Oh no, Ron Artest squaring off with Serge Ibaka.
He hit him so hard, even the announcers started calling him Artest Again. Now, I know he changed his name and whatnot, but even I know better than to trust Mike Tyson off that Henny juice. And Harden found out that day. This is also probably why Harden stopped playing defense. Poor guy's ear is still probably ringing. But as bad as that was, it wasn't even close to his worst moment. He was a part of something so bad that according to the NBA, it was one of their darkest days in history. It had severe consequences and would change the NBA forever. And it all started off with a super costly foul when Artest hit Hamilton in the face with a forearm. This would result in a flagrant. And the thing was, it happened in an elimination game where they were tied. It was clear that every single point was valuable, so it made absolutely zero sense for him to do that. That foul would result in the Pistons getting their very first lead of the night. And on top of all that, they also kept possession where they increased their lead, eventually eliminating the Pacers. However, despite the loss, fans were extremely excited and eager to see them play again. The Pacers had a lot going for them. They were so close to making the finals. They were bringing back all their stars and were favorites heading into next season. But before they even got a chance to get going, Artest flipped the season upside down. In a rematch versus the Pistons, Artest decided to foul Frederick Douglass, who responded by telling Artest he looked like a pit bull. The two started going at each other and chaos erupted. Now this is happening in Detroit, where even their water has Black Air Force energy. When they had finally calmed Ron down, a fan thought he was Brady and nailed Artest with the beer bottle. Absolute mayhem followed. They stormed the crowd the same way they were storming the Capitol. The Pacers started sending fans to the gulag, just straight swinging at them. Coaches quickly followed behind trying to put an end to it. And now, I understand trying to hold someone back, but why you gotta hold him like he's your prom date, huh? The NBA retaliated by taking drastic action. Jackson was suspended 30 games. O'Neal got 25 games. Frederick Douglass got 6 games. Even 5 fans were arrested. And to top it all off, Artest got a record-breaking suspension of 86 games. Remember how Artest had asked for a month off for his album? Well, now he had all the time in the world for it.